السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله على إحسانه وشكر له على تفضله وامتنانه ولا إله إلا الله تعظيما لشأنه وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله داعي إلى رضوانه وعلى آله وأصحابه وإخواني أما بعد. إخواني في الله, a few days back in Indonesia, I don't know if many have seen the video. There's a lady, she was completing the Quran. She was getting perhaps an ijaza, a certification for reciting of the Quran. So she was completing her Quran. She started from the beginning of the Mus'haf. She finished قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ and started reciting the first page of Surah Al-Baqarah. She finished it. I think many of you have seen the video. And she passed away when she finished just about the first page of Surah Al-Baqarah. That is how death came to this lady when she was reciting the Quran of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A few years back also in the same area of the world, in Thailand, a Saudi man, or a man from the Gulf area, he had an illicit or illegal relationship with a woman from Thailand. So he used to spend nights and nights fornicating and doing zina with this lady, a'udhu billah. So one day this lady did not turn up. She came very late and this man got anxious. He got very depressed. Why is the lady not coming? And when the lady came, he was so excited. He was very happy. He went, performed for her sujood to thank her for coming. And he died upon such a state. A man from the Middle East area, from the Gulf region. That is how death, ikhwani fillah, will come to any of us. It is very important. The question that many of us ask, how did the person die? How did the person die? Regardless of what happens, every single one of us is going to walk through that door. Every single one of us, young or old, male or female, rich or poor, every single person is going to have to walk through that door that is called death. This is not the world we were created for. We have to leave this world to go to the hereafter. So it is our decision of how we live our lives, for that will determine the death that will come unto us. Will it be a good death or will it be an evil death? كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ. Every single soul shall taste death. So when the sakaratul maut comes before us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends the angel of death. The angel of death, we said his name is not Israel. It's a malakul maut. كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ. And our soul will be taken and it reaches the throat. Therein you see the angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you want to repent, you want to go back, you want to ask for forgiveness. You ask Allah, oh Allah, grant me a chance to give one sadaqah or to pray 2 rak'ah. It's not accepted from you or from I. Then the death takes us. And we're brought here to the mosque and we pray for you. But will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our dua for you or will He not accept? That is to His Mashiach. It's how He pleases. He rules for every person as He pleases. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ahkamul hakimin. Then ikhwani fillah, we are taken to the graves. None of us will escape from this level. We are taken to the graves. They dig for us a hole. MashaAllah, we have been looking for land in South Sea, 100 by 50. Or in Karen, half an acre, 2,000 square meters. But our final plot is that plot in Karen. 2 meters by half a meter. 1 square meter, ikhwani fillah, is what we are going to have our final destination. 1 square meter. Not the 2,000 square meters in Karen, not the 500 square meters in South Sea. That half a meter by 2 meters is what we're going to be dug in. Then the people who, we used to be friends with them, the same blood we share with them. It's like they don't care about us. They just keep us in that hole. They fill it with the soil and they leave us to whatever happens to us. They leave us. We remain ourselves. We hear their footsteps walking away. I ask, where are you guys going? Why are you leaving me? I need your company at this time. They leave. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He sends 2 angels, blue and black-eyed, Munkar and Nakir. They sit you up. You don't know Arabic. You shall speak Arabic on this day. Man Rabbuk, Man Nabiyuk, Ma Dinuk. The Muslim, it's easy questions. He's lived a life of Islam. He answers, Rabbi Allah, my Lord is Allah, my Prophet is Muhammad, my religion is Islam. But the person who was a munafiq, he was outwardly showing Islam, but portraying nifaq, showing something else. He's not able to answer these questions. It's difficult for him. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders for the angels to open for this man or this woman or this person the doors to Jahannam. And for the person who's good, the doors to Jannah are opened. And they stay in this state until the day of judgment. Ikhwani fillah, the current book we're taking is about the day of judgment. As we are in our graves, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands one of his angels to blow the trumpet. What is the name of the angel? Jibreel or Mikael. He orders Israfil alayhi salam to blow the trumpet. Israfil right now, he has the trumpet in his mouth. He's looking at the Arsh al-Rahman, waiting for the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to blow it on such a day, the day of Friday. So as we are in our graves, most likely we'll be on our graves when Israfil is blowing the trumpet for the first time. Why? Because many of the events that are remaining to happen before the day of judgment have not yet happened. The Masih al-Dajjal, Isa ibn Maryam, Ya'juj wa Ma'juj, all these major signs of the day of Qiyamah have to happen before the day of Qiyamah happens. So after all these events have happened, and Israfil alayhi salam on a Friday is commanded, وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ فَصَعِقَ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا مَنْ شَاءَ اللَّهِ ثُمَّ نُفِخَ فِيهِ أُخْرَى فَإِذَا هُمْ قِيَامٌ يَنْظُرُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands Israfil, blow the trumpet. And he blows the trumpet, and for 40 days, 40 weeks, 40 months, 40 century, 40 millennia, we do not know. For 40, no one remains in the heavens and the earth except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَارِ. The only one who remains is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I looked at this hadith. It's not possible for it to be 40 days. That's the only thing that you can be sure about. How do we know it is not possible for the time between the first time Israfil alayhi salam blows the trumpet until the second time? It is not possible for it to be 40 days. Who can tell? Because the trumpet will be blown on a Friday. And the day of judgment is a Friday. And there's no way 2 Fridays, the time span between it mathematically is not 40 days. Have you understood? Between 2 Fridays is either 8 days or 15 days or 22, 29, 36, 43. It cannot be 40 days between 2 Fridays. So it's either 40 months, 40 years, 40 centuries, 40 millennia, we do not know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he remains by himself. Then he gives life to whomsoever he wills, and the trumpet is blown a second time by Israfil alayhi salam. And we come out of our graves. Question, who is the first person who will come out of the grave? This is revision we've done already. Who is the first person who will be resurrected on the day of judgment? Our beloved Prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And every single person who will be resurrected, ikhwani fillah, on the day of judgment is not the same creation that they left when they left this dunya. Number one, this body that we have will change in 3 or 4 different ways. Number one, there shall be no death. This death that we're dying here, that we're really afraid of, is the last death we're going to experience. Number two, يُبْصِرُونَ مَا لَمْ يَكُنْ يُبْصِرُونَ مِنْ قَبْلِ. The people on the day of judgment shall see things or creation that they were not able to see before. In our presence right now, in the gathering we have here, we have malaika. Can we see the malaika? Can we see the jinn from amongst the Muslims present with us? We cannot see them. But on the day of judgment, we shall be able to clearly see this malaika, these angels. We can be seeing the jinn. Also, greater than that, in the hereafter, we'll be able to see with our eyes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We'll be able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as is the belief of us as Muslims. So, number one, there's no death. Number two, you shall see things that you're not able to see before. Number three, there's no spitting. There's no urinating. There's no defecating. No going to the toilet after this. You shall be eating. Whether in Jannah you'll be eating, or in Nar you shall be eating, but there's no going to the washrooms. There's no toilet in the hereafter. Number four, ikhwani fillah, the state of the person who's resurrected will be in 3 parts. You come out of your grave is open, wide open. After your body has grown back, of course. When you are died, all your body rots in the grave. apart from a select few from the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who Allah honored them. Amongst them the shuhada, amongst them the anbiya. The earth is haram to eat their body. Some of them hafidh al-Quran, some of them salihun. The earth does not eat the body. But most of us, 99.99%, our body will be eaten. And the only part of our body that will remain is a bone at the back here, known as the coccyx or the tailbone, a round bone at the back. From this bone, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send down a rain and our body will grow back fully. The same way from a seed comes a tree. From you shall come back from that small bone and you shall grow completely. Then the earth cracks open, ikhwani fillah, and you come out of your grave. You come out of your grave. And you have three attributes when you come out of your grave. All of us have these three attributes. غُرْلًا عُرَاتًا حُفَاتًا. You're barefoot, no shoes. The same way most all of you are in the mosque. No shoes. Number 2, uncircumcised. Number 3, naked. You have no clothes on. Aisha radiallahu anha, the mother of the believers, the shyness she has, the iman she has. She says, Ya Rasulullah, الرجال والنساء ينظر بعضهم إلى بعض. The women and the men naked on the day of judgment. They look at each other. Where is our shyness on that day? Look at our mother of the believers. Look at her iman, her shyness. And may the curses of Allah be on whoever speaks on her negatively. The Prophet ﷺ says, Ya Aisha, O Aisha, al-amru ashaddu min dhalik. The affair is greater than that. No one on that day will be looking left or right. مهطعين مقنعي رؤوسهم لا يرتد إليهم طرفهم وأفئدتهم هواء. They shall be glaring, they shall be staring at everything that has changed about the universe. The sun, the moon, the mountains, the sky, everything has changed. So why will they have time to look at the beautiful women next to them? Naked, uncircumcised, barefoot. And the very first person who shall be given cloth on the day of judgment is the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. The very first person to be resurrected is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The very first person to be clothed on the day of judgment is Ibrahim alayhi salam. The scholars have said many reasons, but the best reason they mention, they say, when Ibrahim alayhi salam was being thrown in the fire by his father and the group with his father, he most likely did not have any clothes and he was shamed and dishonored on that day when in the part of throwing, not in the part of the fire. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honors his great friend Ibrahim alayhi salam and he gives him cloth on the day of judgment. Then all of us start getting clothes. People like Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, he was seen in a dream. He has very long clothes on the day of judgment. He was asked, the Prophet was asked, what is the meaning of Umar wearing very long clothes? We as Muslims, we wear clothes until the ankles, but Umar's clothes on the day of judgment, he drags it. Like some women drag it when they're going for a wedding festival or their marriage. He says that is the iman of Umar ibn Khattab, a great man, and everyone is given clothes on the day of judgment. A select few, fillah, that day, the sun is brought here, just a mile. You can throw a stone, if you are those good stone throwers, you can throw a stone to the sun. The sun is here, but there's no light coming from the sun. The sun, kuwirat, it has been folded up, it has been rolled up. It's a sphere, it does not produce any light. But the heat of the sun remains. So the sun is here. The sky has cracked open. It has been rolled up. It has been broken into parts. The ocean that is water is burning. Fire like oil. 70% of the earth is water. All of that is burning oil. The mountains become dust. They become like cotton wool. They have no function to play upon the stability of the earth. There is zilzal. There's an earthquake. People are running away from their own families. No one wants Baba, Mama on that day. Kulluhum nafsi, nafsi. Everyone says, myself, myself. On that day, ikhwani fillah, you come out of your grave and you see the world in this state. And it's a day that is equivalent to 50,000 years. There's earthquakes. Everyone is running away from their families. You do not know what to do. You are in a crowd of trillions of the creation of Allah Azza wa Jal. The human beings from the time Adam alayhi salam to the day of judgment are all with you. The jinn are there, the malaika are there, but there's no day you are lonely. There's no day you feel so alone like this day of judgment You don't feel like you have family. You do not have friends. The people who are governors, they think their bodyguards will help them on that day. Queen Elizabeth left. You think those bodyguards or her, what are those guards called? The ones who wear the red. Will they be with her on the day of judgment? No one is with you. Ikhwani fillah. You have all these crowds of people, but you're lonely. You do not know what is before you. Then the earthquake of the day of judgment. It's shaking. Everything is scary. The sun is here. You're sweating so much that some of you are drowning in your own sweat. Everyone is in a state of fear, apprehension. They do not know what is before them. The pain and the tremor, ikhwani fillah, on the day of judgment becomes so severe that the people, they wish for people to be thrown in the hellfire immediately so that this day ends. The day of judgment is a punishment by itself. People go to Adam alayhi salam, they say, you are our father. You're the first one who was created. Talk to Allah. We get thrown to the hellfire. No problem. Let this day end. Please let this day end. Adam alayhi salam tells them, nafsi, nafsi, myself. I ate from the fruit. He mentions one sin. Go to someone else. Go to Nuh alayhi salam. Goes to Nuh alayhi salam. Nuh alayhi salam tells them, go to someone else. Nafsi, nafsi, I did a sin. I made dua for my son who was about to drown and he was amongst the kuffar. I should have not made a dua for him. Go to someone else. Come to Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim says, I lied. On an instance, I lied 3 times. Go to someone else. Go to Musa alayhi salam. Musa says, I killed someone. Go to someone else. Isa alayhi salam, he says, I cannot ask for you anything. Go to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the people come to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam and they beg him, O Prophet, ask Allah to establish the day of judgment. Even if we are to be thrown in the hellfire, we are ready. Ask Allah to establish the day of judgment, will be held accountable for our deeds. Ikhwani fillah, the question I'm asking myself and I'm asking you, Ikhwani fillah, are you ready for such a day where you are ready to be thrown in the hellfire even if that day is to end? Are we prepared for this day that is no doubt? Whoever has any doubt that they will die is not intelligent. Everyone, even the disbeliever knows, even the animal knows he'll leave this world. And you know you shall not, the death is not your end. So ikhwani fillah, we have to prepare for this day that is known as the day of judgment. Ikhwani fillah, in revision to what we took previously, we said in the Arabic language, whatever is great is given a lot of names. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is great. And how many names does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have? Naam. How many names does Allah have? Who says 99? Who says 100 minus 1? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has so many names we do not know the number. But from His names, Asma'ul Husna, that you can make dua with, is 99 names. لِكُلِّ اسْمٍ سَمَّيْتَ بِهِ نَفْسَكَ. Then He says, أَوْ اسْتَثَرْتَ بِهِ فِي عِلْمِ الْغَيْبِ عِنْدَكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has hidden some names from us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has many names. The day of judgment, ikhwani fillah, also has many names. From amongst the names of the day of judgment is Yawmul Qiyamah, Yawmul Akhir, Al-Haqqa, Al-Waqi'ah, Al-Qari'ah. So many names. Type. Question, ikhwani fillah. This is a research question. Whoever gets this will get a present. From the names of the day of Qiyamah. Tomorrow, I'll give you a present, inshallah. There are many names of the names of Qiyamah. There's one name that has only 6 huruf, has only 6 alphabets. For example, Al-Qiyamah, Alif, Lam, Qaf, Ya, Alif, Mim, Ta marbuta. That is 7. But there's one that has how many? 6. Research the name of the day of judgment that has only 6 letters in Arabic language, and inshallah, you'll get a present. The only 3, you know that, sir? No. Go do more research. Now, Yawmuddin has how many huruf? MashaAllah. Barakallahu fiqh. He's answered the correct answer. Al-Haqqa is the name of Qiyamah that has 6. Alif, Lam, Ha, Alif, Qaf, Ta marbuta. It has 6 huruf. Type. Next question, ikhwani fillah, as you conclude. How many times will the trumpet be blown on the day of judgment? 3 times or 2 times? 2 times. Barakallahu fikum. Who is the one who will blow the trumpet? Who are the 3 greatest angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Number 1, Jibreel, Mikael, Israfil. What's the name of the angel of death? Israel. What's the name of the angel of death? قُلْ يَتَوَفَّاكُمْ مَلَكُ الْمَوْتِ. The name is Malakul Maut, it is not Israel. Next question, Ikhwani fillah. What is the name of the bone that all of us are going to grow from? The biological name. It is called the tailbone or the coccyx. Who is the first one to come out of the grave? The Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. Are the animals going to be resurrected on the day of judgment? What is the evidence that animals are going to be resurrected on the day of judgment? We have all memorized Juzu Amma. وَإِذَا الْوُحُوشُ حُشِّرَتْ. Animals are going to be resurrected on the day of judgment. And the kafir, once he sees the animals, they have been ruled upon. The animals will be told, you deer or you antelope, you kill this antelope. This antelope revenges. Then they are turned to dust. When the kafir sees that, what does he say? وَيَقُولُ الْكَافِرُ يَا لَيْتَنِي كُنْتُ تُرَابًا. He says, I wish I was like those animals. These animals that they're looking down upon now in dunya, on the day of judgment, they wish to be like the animals. For the kafir is even lower than an animal on the day of judgment. Subhanallah. We said the people are resurrected with 3 attributes. Number 1, barefoot. Number 2, naked and uncircumcised. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the day of judgment, أَلَا يَظُنُّ أُولَٰئِكَ أَنَّهُمْ مَبْعُوثُونَ لِيَوْمٍ عَظِيمٍ. The day of judgment is a great day. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is great, describes this day, Ikhwani fillah, as a great day, it is definitely great. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls the day of judgment a great day. Final question. What is the last question? I have no further questions. Are there any questions, Ikhwani fillah? Inshallah, tomorrow we'll continue. We shall look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will deal with the disbelievers on the day of judgment. What will be the state of the disbelievers on the day of judgment? After that, we shall look at the state of the sinners on the day of judgment. And thereafter, we shall look at the state of the righteous people on the day of judgment. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us all amongst the righteous people. May He resurrect us on the day of judgment amongst the righteous people. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل ونعوذ بك من النار وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.